Hey everybody, this is Mr. Storm, and in this video, we are going to start building our original game. So I have Godot opened here. Godot is the engine that we are going to use to build this project. I'm going to go ahead and create a new project, and I'm going to call this, what do I want to name this new project? I already have a Lonely Robot Light. Let's call it Lonely Robot 2. All right. Now I want to make sure that I'm putting the project somewhere I can get access to it. I'm just going to put mine on my desktop. So notice we have this C:, that's our C drive, and then there's this file path here. I'm going to go up one directory, and I should see desktop right here. So I'll open that, and I'm going to select current folder, and I'm going to click create folder to create a new folder on my desktop. Perfect. Now the next thing I want to check is I want to make sure that we're using the right renderer. We're going to use the compatibility renderer. That's going to allow us to publish our project to the web later on. So I'm going to click create and edit. Oh, it's coming over to my other screen. Let me move this over. There we go. Okay, perfect. Alrighty, now before we really get started with building this project, we need to take a look at the project settings. There are a couple things that we need to change to make sure that our game looks the way it's supposed to. Let's go ahead and switch to 2D so we can see our 2D workspace here. Yeah, let's go to project settings. So project settings. And in here, there's quite a few things that we want to change. The first thing we want to change is the size of our window. Right now, it's 1152 by 648. That's the default standard size. We actually want ours to be smaller because we're going to target like an NES or Super Nintendo era screen size. So we're going to go with 512 by 448. So 512 on the width, 448 on the height. We also want to make sure that our stretch mode is set to canvas items. That means whenever we play our game, if we maximize the game, it'll actually stretch everything properly and it'll make sure everything looks good. Make sure your aspect ratio is set to keep. Let's see. Oh, the other thing. With pixel art, it's really frustrating when you try to import a bunch of pixel art and you put it in your game and it looks really fuzzy and weird. The reason for that is because Godot by default puts a linear filter on all of your artwork. For regular art, it looks great, but for pixel art, it does not. So we have to fix that before we start importing artwork. So you're going to want to go to rendering, then textures, change your default texture filter to nearest. Okay. And when we're done there, you can just go ahead and close that. So that's all the project settings we need. Now notice that our screen is much smaller and it's much more of a square, right? Because back in the day when we were playing Super Nintendo games, they were on mainly square TVs, right? Okay. All right. Now we want to organize all of the project files that we're going to create and import. I like to use folders because it's much easier to find what I'm looking for if it's in a folder. So down here in my file system menu, first of all, I'm going to get rid of this icon. We don't actually need it anymore, so I'm going to remove that. And inside my res folder, I'm going to create a couple new folders. I'm going to create a new folder and I will call it, let's do art. So that's inside res. Let's create a new folder and we'll call it objects. Then we want a folder for our scenes. And let's create a folder for our scripts. There we go. Folder for our scripts. So we have art, objects, scenes, and scripts. Perfect. Okay. Let's go ahead and put all of our artwork into our art folder. That's hard to say. I'm going to find my, there we go. So here's my Lonely Robot art that I've created for the project. I'm just going to go ahead and select all of these and I will drag them and drop them into art. Now when I look at it, I have all of my artwork right there inside the art folder. Perfect. Okay, next we want to start creating our first level. All right, so I'm going to show you very quickly how to do this, and then you guys are going to have a lot of time to kind of expand on this idea and make the level whatever you want. So first we need an actual level. We need a scene to hold all of our artwork in. So we're going to just take this empty scene that we have created by default. We're going to add a 2D scene as its root node, and we are going to rename it to level 1. Level 1. Okay. Now, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and save this into our scenes folder so that it's easier for us to, or so we don't lose our progress. So scene, save scene as. Now, right now it wants to put us in res, but we want this to actually go into scenes. We're going to double click on our scenes folder, level 1 underscore TSCN. Perfect. Let's click save. So now if we look over here, we have a level 1 scene inside of our scenes folder. That's perfect. That's what we want. Okay, now let's start drawing our level. The way we're going to do this is we're going to use something called a tile map. Tile maps are really handy tools for 2D artwork, and we've created tiles. So we have our tiles right here. We've created tiles. What we're going to do is we're going to create a grid that we can paint these tiles onto. Excuse me. We're going to create a grid on which we can paint these tiles. So let's go ahead and do that. First, as a child of our level 1 node, let's add a tile map node right there. So this is going to be our tile map node. But every tile map needs a tile set. So over here in the inspector, we can see we have tile set. We need to click on there, click new tile set. So now we have a new tile set, and we can see that we have a grid set up. Perfect. Let's go ahead and click on tile set so we can edit it. So now we have it open. Let's change our tile size to 32 by 32 because that is the size of our artwork. Over here, we said it says this tile map's tile set has no source configured. Go to the tile set bottom tab and add one. So if we come down here and click on tile set, we have this box here. We can drag our tiles directly into the box. And it says the atlas's texture was modified. Would you like to automatically create tiles in this atlas? Yeah, sure, why not? So now, let me drag this up. Now it's created those tiles for us automatically. It's found our 32 by 32 tiles. Our texture region size is 32 by 32. Now, if for some reason you get a different result, your separators are in the middle of your tiles or something, you can change your texture region size right here. Okay. All right, now we're not quite done with this tile set yet. We need to do one more thing. Well, a couple more things. First, we need to create alternate tiles. This tile, for example, is a nice flat piece for a floor, but what if we want to use it for a ceiling? It's got to be upside down, right? Or if we want to use it for a wall or another wall, right? So what we can do is we can right click and click create alternate tile. Then with that tile, we can transpose it. Let's see. Where is my transpose option? Is it in tile map? Where is it? Oh, it's in select. So click select and then go to your rendering. Now we can transpose it, meaning to flip it. So now we have a wall segment. Let's create another alternative tile. Let's transpose it and flip it on the H. So now we have a wall section there. Let's create another alternative tile and let's flip it on the vertical. That way it's, so now we have a wall, and a ceiling tile. We need to do the same thing with this corner piece. So alternative tile, let's transpose it. Alternative tile, let's transpose and flip on the H. And then alternative tile, let's flip on the V. Oh, you know what? Let's just flip that on the H. There we go. Okay, so now we have left corner, right corner, bottom, bottom. Okay, perfect. So that's all the alternative tiles that we need. Using these tiles, we'll be able to build our entire level. Okay, now the last thing we need to do is we need to add some physics to this thing. We need to be able to collide with these tiles. Our character needs to be able to collide with these tiles. So what we need to do is add a physics layer. So click physics layer, add element. Now over here, you'll notice that we've added a new option down here called physics, physics layer 0. So what we're going to do is each of these tiles that need to be collided with, we're going to select the tile, go down to physics layer 0. Okay. We're going to click on the picture here. We're going to click the plus, add polygon, and you're just going to click in the corners to draw a square. Once it's filled in red, you know you have a collider. So we'll do the same thing here. Boom. Oh, hold on. Boom. Hello. Physics layer. Oh, I have to click the I have to click the plus tool. There we go. Boom. 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 All right. Next one. Plus. Boom. 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 Next one. Boom. Boom. So we're just going to do this for all of our tiles. It's not going to take too long. As you can see, I'm over halfway done, or I'm about halfway done. And you don't have to be precise with this. It's going to automatically snap to the corners for you pretty well. So you can do this pretty quickly. All right. And then here, boop, 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 boop. Now, you'll notice that I only did these tiles here. I left these two alone. The reason for that is because this tile here doesn't actually need a collider because it's only going to be outside of the area where your player can go. This tile here needs a collider, but it's not going to be the full square like we just drew. This one's going to be a bit custom because we want the collider to only go about this far down, right? We want all this space down here to be empty so that players can jump into that space. So we'll just go like this and create a pretty imperfect, and we can adjust as we go, create a collider there. Now, for this collider, we also want to be able to jump through the collider, jump through it, but then land on top of it, right? So your character should be able to jump underneath and through. The way we can fix that is go to polygon 0 down here at the bottom and click one way. That way, your character can jump through the polygon. Okay, perfect. So now that we have our colliders all built and everything's ready to go, let's go to tile map. We can start selecting our tiles here and start actually drawing out what we want. Now we have the pencil tool here, which will draw individual sprites. We can just boop, 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 individual tiles. We also have the square tool that will allow you to draw a bunch of them at one time, but I don't want to do that. Your eraser tool, your fill bucket tool, these are all basically the same kind of tools that you normally would use. I'm going to show you generally how this project works. And actually, let me get rid of that. You can also right click to delete very quickly. Yeah, we'll go back to the pencil and let me drag this up just a little bit. Okay, I want that wall segment. Oh, hello. Okay, so now notice how these two corners, they kind of match up. They look pretty good together. I probably need to put a filler in there so that it looks more natural. On the bottom here, I can start drawing some bottom tiles. Now let's say I want to make like a platform, right? Well, it's pretty easy. We just start building up. Now, the jump height for your character, it's only going to be able to jump about 2 squares up. Right, naturally, right? So you want to make sure that you're not building too high expecting your character to be able to jump up there. I'm going to make this one too tall to jump on, but I'll put a platform here so that they can get up there. And notice how I'm using the corners to kind of like round it out. I'm basically outlining the playable area of our game. Let's put another one here. Let's drop this down. Let's go with this here. Oh. And again, I'm using Control Z to undo if I make a mistake, just like that. So you can definitely use Control Z for those purposes. It works out really, really well. All right, let's put one there. And let's go here. And let's go here. Okay, so that's a basic shape. Now I'm going to want to fill in with these first of all, I'll fill in the corners. And now I can use this square tool to fill in. We want to make sure at least 2 squares away from the edge are filled in. So that we have a buffer room for our camera to go into. Okay, and then right here. Okay, so that's going to be the basic outline, the basic structure of my level. Now I can go in and start putting in platforms. Let's grab my pencil tool again. I'll put a platform there. I'll put a couple platforms up there. I'll put some platforms there, one right there. Let's do one here with a jump and a jump. And then let's put platforms here, platforms here. We'll do one up there. I may not be able to make that jump, so I might have to put one in the middle there. Okay, that should be about fine. I'm not going to spend all day building out my level, but you guys get the same basic idea. Now, there's one last thing that I want to change. Oh, my lights went out. There's one last thing that I want to change really quickly. There we go. All right, my lights are back on. So there's one last thing that I want to change. I don't like this dark gray background for my level. It doesn't look super great to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change that. Let's go to project settings. And then if I go to environment, under rendering environment, I can change the default clear color. So this color back here, I can change that to something else. I'm going to make it like should I do a light blue? Like almost a white, or should I do like a darker blue? Let's do dark for now and see how that works. I kind of like that. So now I have a nice background color. I have all my art working together. Everything seamlessly snaps together perfectly using the tile map. So, and all of this will have colliders. So whenever we build our character and put them in the game, they'll actually be able to collide with all of this stuff in the proper way. So that's pretty much it for building your level. Like I said, I'm going to give you a lot of time to work on building out your first level. My first level is pretty small. You can make yours as big as you want. You can like eat up as much of this space as you want. The longer your level, the more people are going to enjoy playing it probably, as long as it doesn't get boring. You know what I mean? But that's going to be my level. I'm going to leave it here, let you guys get started on yours. Thanks for paying attention, and I'll see you next time.